Sa ilalim sa isang executive session ng mga senador kung saan ipapaliwanag sa kanila ang nilalaman ng Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement o EDCA. Ayon yan kay Senator Antonio Trillanes IV, Chairman ng Senate Defense Committee. Ayon din kay Trillanes, si Senate President Franklin Drilon daw ang nagpatawag ng briefing para rito. Posible raw na ang Philippine Negotiating Panel ang manguna sa nasabing executive session. Ayon kay Trillanes, malaya naman daw ang mga kumikwestiyon sa EDCA na dalhin ang issue sa Korte Suprema. Pero kung si Senator Trillanes daw ang tatanungin, hindi na kailangan i-ratifika ng Senado ang EDCA na magbibigay daan sa mas madalas na presensya ng tropang Amerikano sa bansa. Wala naman daw kasing bagong probisyon sa ilalim ng EDCA kumpara sa Mutual Defense Treaty at Visiting Forces Agreement. May bibigay din daw ng EDCA ang kinakailangan training ng mga Pilipinong sundalo. Naging transparent din daw ang negosasyon kaugnay sa EDCA dahil sinailalim sa briefing ang Defense Committee at pinadalhan ng status updates habang nag-uusap ang negotiating panels ng Pilipinas at Amerika. At kaugnay sa Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement o EDCA, makakapanim natin si Defense Undersecretary Pio Lorenzo Batino, Chair ng Philippine Negotiating Panel para sa EDCA, at si Philippine Ambassador to Malaysia, Eduardo Malaya, na isa sa mga miyembro ng negotiating panel. Magandang umaga po, gentlemen.
Magandang umaga po.
Okay, thank you for coming in on Labor Day. So you're doing some labor on May 1.
Thank you for the invitation, sir.
So okay, alam mo last week, nakausap namin yung ibang opisyal ng pamahalaan tungkol sa pagdating ni President Obama last Monday. Siyempre, yung isang tinanong namin, may hahabol ba itong EDCA in time for President Obama para meron din siyang baon na accomplishment, no? Ika nga, pauwi ng Washington. At sinabi sa amin ay, hindi pa raw tapos, no? At hindi sigurado na aabot, no? But on Sunday, we were told na umabot nga at magpipirmahan na sa Monday morning. So, parang photo finish itong agreement na ito. Totoo ba? Talagang hinabol nyo para sa pagbisita ni Pangulong Obama?
Sir, there was no definite deadline to finish these negotiations. The instructions to the negotiating panel was very clear. Siguraduhin that all the provisions in the EDCA would be compliant with the Philippine Constitution and Philippine laws and would be implementing the existing agreements between the Philippines and the U.S., namely the MDT, the Mutual Defense Treaty, and the Visiting Forces Agreement. May kwento ko lang din po na nagsimula yung pag-uusap tungkol dito sa posibleng access agreement 2 years ago. Informal talks were started 2 years ago. In fact, the formal negotiations started 8 months ago, having 8 rounds of negotiations, the last one being probably this month.
So you managed to hammer out the details the weekend before President Obama arrived. I mean, you're not going to say coincidence lang yon. I mean, syempre siguro naman may naramdaman kayong pressure. Galing din siguro sa American side na tapusin na to bago dumating yung aming leader. Kasi kagagaling lang niya sa Japan where there was a failure to hammer out a trade deal, di ba? They were trying to hammer out a trade deal with the Prime Minister of Japan na hindi nagawa. So parang it wasn't really considered that successful in terms of concrete achievement hanggang dumating siya sa Pilipinas. So, Ambassador Malaya, did you feel pressure na tapusin na to bago dumating yung Pangulo ng Amerika?
Well, ideally, sana matapos bago dumating yung US President. Pero yung timing ay hindi yun yung pinakamahalagang bagay dito sa negotiation. Okay. Nagtapos na yung pag-uusap with the US at meron ng understanding on key provisions. Pero tama yung binabanggit ni Secretary Coloma. Pagkatapos nung negotiations proper, kailangan ng interagency vetting on our side, on the Philippine side. Kaya nga po, kinonsulta muli yung mga stakeholders, mga concerned government agencies, para masigurado tayo na okay nga ito. And nakakuha tayo ng go signal noon a few days before the visit.
Okay, what were the most contentious points? Siguro yung ibang issue ay madaling naresolba. Pero what did you spend the most time discussing with your counterparts, may I ask?
Maybe we can just talk about the significant features of EDCA, which would promote and protect Philippine interests. One question that arises is, if it's just an implementing agreement of the MDT and the VFA, why do we need it? No? And our point of view is that before we embark on this greater level of defense cooperation with the U.S., we want the rules to be clear, to promote and protect Philippine interests. And there are a lot of provisions here that would cater or address these concerns. One of which is that before any prepositioning and construction that would be made here, that would be implemented here in Philippine territory, it is very important that it goes through the Mutual Defense Board and the Security Engagement Board. Ito po yung existing mechanism where the AFP and the U.S. Armed Forces consult each other and give their consent before any activities are implemented. Nangangahulugan ho na itong mga pag-implementa ng activities would be subject to Philippine approval.
Okay, kasi nabanggit mo, bakit pa kailangan to? I mean, I was also wondering, kasi pag ako, halimbawa, nagpupunta akong sa mga ibang lugar sa Mindanao, halimbawa sa Basilan and sa Zamboanga, lagi ako may nakikitang Amerikanong sundalo. Minsan nakasibilyan pa, sinasabi sa akin, mga special forces yan. Minsan mga Filipino-American pa, nakikihalo sa mga sibilyan, gumagawa sila ng kalsada, waterworks, etc. And then parang hindi lang sila bumibisita because they're living in barracks, etc. No? And then of course there's always been JUSMAG. And then if we recall, yung speech ni President Obama sa Fort Bonifacio, there were American soldiers standing behind him and in the audience. At tinanong namin, saan galing itong mga sundalong Amerikanong to? Sabi, nandito na sila sa Pilipinas as part of JUSMAG and as part. So in other words, is EDCA simply giving a legal mantle on activities that are already happening in the Philippines? May access na sila sa mga facilities natin. Nandito na sila. Siguro more than just visiting kasi parang at least semi-permanent and almost full-time yung mga ito na nauobserba namin, nagtitraining ng mga Philippine Army. So, I'm just wondering, ano ba talaga magbabago dito dahil dito sa EDCA? Or is it simply giving a greater legal framework for what is already happening?
Well, tuloy-tuloy pa rin ho ang joint training exercises and these were launched sa pamamagitan ng VFA, no? Visiting Forces Agreement. But these activities, the new activities of prepositioning and construction, even if this would already be allowed under the Visiting Forces Agreement, would have to be governed under a defined set of rules. And this is what the EDCA is for.
Okay.
Dagdag ko lang, Howie. Maganda yung tinanong mo. Madami palang Amerikano at nasa likod pa, backdrop ni Obama nung nagsalita siya. Ang nandoon sila dahil pasimula na yung balikatan exercises.
Okay.
At alam niyo po, pag may balikatan, madaming Amerikanong pumupunta for short-term visits dahil mag-e-exercise sila. Dito po sa EDCA, practically, tatlo ang elements. One is, mag-share po tayo ng certain portions of existing AFP facilities. Hindi po yung lahat, konti lang. Tapos within that, they would be allowed to undertake construction and also yung prepositioning of supplies or storage in layman's term. Yung storage po, hindi lang military hardware, but also humanitarian assistance and disaster relief.
Okay, now gusto ko rin tanongin, ano ba talaga ang benepisyo sa atin in terms of security? Okay, of course, magpapagawa silang facilities dito, mabibigyan ng trabaho, may konting economic inputs yung kanilang presence. But defense-wise, sir, pag nandito na yung mga Amerikano, they've got their weapons here, they've got their soldiers here, kung magkaroon sila ng crisis or problema sa ibang bansa, they can use this place as, a base, the country, as a base for fighting a war overseas. Kumbaga, damay na tayo sa gera nila. But wala pa talaga silang categorical statement na, halimbawa, agawan tayo ng teritoryo ng China. In fact, nangyari na nga yun sa Panatag Shoal. No? They've never really said that they will come to our defense. They will fight China with us kung magkaroon ng shooting war. But si DFA Secretary has said otherwise. However, i-defensa tayo ng Amerikano in case of a crisis. But Americans have never actually made that kind of commitment. Anong pananaw nyo dyan? We will help them fight their wars, but they don't seem to be willing to help us in case we are engaged in a war, even a small shooting war with China.
Well, with respect to your first point, sir, that their fears that this could be used as a launching pad, no, for U.S. forces. Malinaw po yung EDCA na ang purpose lang po nito is for the maintenance and development of mutual defense capability. And this is under the Mutual Defense Treaty. Meron din pong language sa EDCA that reiterates an operative provision of the Mutual Defense Treaty that the parties would refrain from the threat or use of force or any process inconsistent with the United Nations Charter. So limitado po ang purpose ng EDCA. With respect to your second issue on the
China and whether whether they will help us in case there's a crisis with China.
Well, we can talk about EDCA. No, I think we can be assured with EDCA being signed by the Philippines and the U.S. because it shows the interest of both parties to even elevate their defense cooperation in preparation for the implementation of the Mutual Defense Treaty. So I think EDCA is a positive step towards that direction of greater capability for possible mutual defense.
Okay. Of course, that sounds a bit illegal. But of course, that's part of your role, to sound legalistic. But ano lang, okay, scenario lang. Halimbawa, I mean, we know that the U.S. has been training for a possible war on the Korean Peninsula. Magkaroon ng gera dyan with North Korea, South Korea, siyempre damay Amerikano dyan. Are you saying na yung mga American personnel and facilities and airplanes, etc., na nandito sa Pilipinas, hindi yan marirealign or magagamit dun sa gera nila sa Korean Peninsula in case that ever happens? Well, that's definitely not within the agreement?
The activities would have to be approved by the AFP. Their prepositioning, their construction, the rotational presence of the U.S. forces. And the AFP then will check if these activities would be in line with the main objective of EDCA, which is for the implementation of the Mutual Defense Treaty, the preparation of our defense capabilities. So yun lang po ang scope ng EDCA.
Okay, so just to continue the scenario, halimbawa, magkaroon nga ng malaking gera sa Korean Peninsula. Sasabihin ng mga Amerikano sa atin, this board where there's Filipinos sitting, no? Look, we need to move some of our forces that are now based in the Philippines to the Korean Peninsula or to Japan to help defend Japan in case something happens there. If the Filipino counterparts give their consent, pwede talagang gamitin. So it's not really prohibited as long as we are consulted and then we give our consent.
Kung alalahanin lang natin yung history ng Korean War, in fact up to now, may mga UN troops doon. There are foreign troops there under UN command. And ang paggamit ng military forces under UN mandate is allowed under international law. And that is also even acknowledged under the MDT. So, if there would be such a move on the US part, na gamitin yung kanilang materials at saka personnel, that would be pursuant to a UN mandate.
Okay. So in other words, it's very possible.
No,
that U.S. forces in the Philippines can be used in other countries.
Allowed under the UN Charter.
Okay, back to the EDCA as a document. No, of course, there's this whole disagreement about the agreement, about whether it's an executive agreement or a treaty, and up to now, it's not. I myself, I'm not certain what the difference is. But basically, ang ina-argue ng ating yung administrasyon ay dahil executive agreement to, hindi na kailangan ng Senate approval. Ang sinasabi naman ng mga ibang kritiko at senador, hindi, treaty yan, and it has to go through the Senate. But of course, sabi nga ni Senator Trillanes, kinonsulto naman ninyo yung mga senador. But you're a lawyer, sir. What's the difference between a treaty and an executive agreement, and why are you asserting that this is an executive agreement, does not need Senate approval, while the visiting forces agreement is also an agreement, but it had to go through the Senate?
Sa paningin po ng panel, may sufficient basis na under the MDT at saka BFA for us to enter into this kind of an arrangement with the United States. Dahil nga po sa MDT, may linya doon that the two parties are to maintain and develop their capacities in the defense area. Specifically, yung line ay capacity to respond to armed attack. So, to us, how are we to do that? And we can do that through training with the U.S. military and also in the sharing of certain AFP areas. Yun po. So, clear na yung national policy with respect to the enhancement of our defense capability. So, this is in pursuant to that.
Okay,
And also, kung naalala nyo, yung MDT was again revisited and reaffirmed and revalidated by the VFA. So, very recent po yan. And both these two agreements were concurred in by the Senate.
Okay, so I guess isang parallel dyan yung parang implementing rules and regulations
Yes.
for a law that had to
Yes.
go through Congress, but the implementing rules and regulations ay hindi na kailangan dumaan pa sa legislation.
Opo. Oho.
Ganon. Okay. Sounds reasonable. Maraming salamat, Defense Undersecretary Pio Lorenzo Patino, Chair ng Philippine Negotiating Panel para sa EDCA.
Salamat po.
At isa sa mga miyembro nito na si Philippine Ambassador to Malaysia, Ed Malaya. Welcome back to the Philippines.
Oh,
Thank you, sir. Thank you.